All right, we are live. This is usually where my camera starts slowing down. So welcome to the last Carve live stream of this series. Is really excited to have Markus from Bioboards with us. Do you want to quickly introduce yourself for the people who don't know who you are?
Yeah, hello. Hey, my name is Markus Johnson. I'm the CEO of Bioboards, and I was the one that started it. And yeah, a little later with some more friends, but it's mostly me who runs it. And
So is it Bioboards? How big is your team?
we are 3 other that work in the workshop, and that is a part of Bioboards, and we have one that we hire on hourly that works also to mostly doing repairs and stuff. And then in US we have a long hair boy that take care of our warranties problems and stuff like that for US, so they don't have to ship it to Sweden. Yeah, and that's,
okay, cool. So
yeah,
he's doing your support basically.
For US, yeah.
The US.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm quite interested in your e-skate history. Like, how did you get into the scene? What really kind of brought you to this point?
Yeah, I actually bought the Raptor 2, and yeah, I've been skating for like 10 years when I was between 10 and 20 years old, and then I stopped. And when I was around 30, I bought the Raptor 2 and started again, and it was great and fun. And yeah, but later I wanted something with more range and more power, and yeah, so
Doesn't take long, does it?
Yeah. Yeah, so I started to read on the forums, and yeah, I built myself one, and then after some time others asked me if I could build the same for them, and yeah, that's how it's all started.
That's interesting to know that you started on Raptor 2. That is
So
quite
top
a
of
big
the range is the first board, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
That's going in at the deep end already.
Yeah, it's I always been like that, like a tech nerd. When I buy something like for electronics or whatever it is, I want usually the best ones and
Straight
as the
away,
strongest
yeah,
or
go for
whatever
it,
it
yeah.
is.
Excellent. So what other boards were you riding and trying out before you decided that you were going to build your own?
I did only own a Raptor 2, but on group rides and stuff I tested other like boosted boards, Evolve and stuff. But yeah, I wanted something more.
Okay. So you're in Sweden at the moment.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, the scene is pretty much like a lot of the rides and stuff run by Lazy Rolling. What's the scene like there? And are you fully legal to ride in Sweden?
Yeah, the scene is growing, and I think it's around 2,000 members or something in the e-skate group for Sweden, and it's going up all the time. And yeah, I see more and more, at least on the summer, I see more and more random people riding with e-skate. And yeah, for like 2-3 years ago, I never seen one, but now it's seen more often, so it's growing. And yeah, about the legal part, yeah, it's not legal, but if you ride and follow the traffic rules and stuff, the police don't care. So if you just don't ride crazy or unresponsible, they have stopped me a few times, and asked about the boards, but they want to test it and just think it's fun.
Yeah, all in play.
Yeah, but if I would ride like on red lights and stuff, they would probably stop me and take me or something.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
So when we were riding in when we were in Belgium, we were riding there, and it's like totally legal to ride. Such an incredible feeling to ride legal for the first time, and it's weird how the traffic was kind of used to seeing e-skate on the roads, and they were being really respectful and stopping and like letting us pass, and it was like a really weird feeling of like
riding about persecution, basically.
Yeah, we don't get that in London at all, and it was really nice to yeah.
But what does the police does if they do they stop you if you ride e-skate or in London?
In London, they're mostly pretty good. A lot of people have been stopped, and it's just for conversations. But we did have a scooter death, which is quite high profile. So there's been a bit more people stopped recently, and it's not as bad, but people are a little bit more concerned at the moment.
Yeah. So with a good question. While talking about where you ride, obviously with Sweden, it's very, very long, wide spaces. What's it like to ride in something like a city with like a bioboard or something like that?
It's work great. It depends how tight trucks I have and what kind of bushings. But if I ride my normal setup, it's not like if I ride in the city, it's sometimes I have to like go off the board and turn it if it's too tight.
Yeah. I do think boards evolve from where they're made, you know. So obviously with your large spacing and your long roads, it's evolved with the speed and the the performance side of things. So that's what is interesting. The evolution of that.
But it's quite easy if I just change the bushings. I can ride like Evolve Rider or Boost Rider or whatever in the city too. So it's not that hard to change the setup.
Cool. I got a question from Nelson. Bioboards are brutal. Why not have bigger batteries?
Well, I think we have except from the Lacroix Lone Star, I think we have the biggest battery of them all. So it's depends how you ride, but probably between 40 and 80 kilometers range. So I think that's enough for most people.
That's a lot of range.
Yeah.
It's just people are greedy. That's the problem. It's the greed, isn't it?
Yeah. But of course, can make a bigger battery, and it wouldn't be not so much more expensive actually to do it, but it will be. It's already a heavy board, and I think it's the perfect size of battery for range and weight.
With this conversation today, I think we did, Tim, about talking about people forget about. They want more range and power, but they forget that adds weight. And then living with the thing, like carrying it places and moving it around, it just adds to the weight. So you have to have the balance between how much power and range you have versus the amount of agility and kind of living with the board, carrying it. And do you really need that in one go, or can you stop, charge, and then go again? So
the power from this battery is actually between 2 and 3 times more than any other board. So.
Exactly.
I think the most premium boards have like 70 to 90 discharge ampere, and our board can do up to 180 ampere discharge. The first 50 meters, if you actually, at least if you ride a 4-wheel drive, the first 50 meters, you can probably accelerate faster than a car or something.
Yeah. So electric power.
If you still can stand on it, I have not so far been able to do full throttle.
I rode a 4-wheel drive board today for the first time. It was 3,500 watt motors, and it had bindings on the board to keep you on, which is quite nice. But you just a little bit on the throttle, and it was pretty scary.
Yeah, that's a 3,500 watts motor. Did Forium from last year have, but this year we have 4,500 motors. So
So I've got a quick question of that, Tim. Actually, bouncing off what you said about the bindings. So Markus, for you, what's the balance between bindings and non-bindings? Because obviously you have your strength from the bindings, from like turns and locking in and holding you to the board when you're all-wheel drive and you're hammering it. Why no bindings for the Bioboard?
You can ride better with bindings, I think, but I don't like the feeling when you crash with like 20 kilos stuck on your feet. It hurts a lot more, and it's usually if you crash, you can bail. You can usually like try slide on your knee pads and gloves or something, but that will be very hard if you're stuck with the board. And when you ride in that fast, maybe if you ride off-road, you usually not ride that fast. It's probably better to you have to jump and stuff. But for riding fast, I don't think it's worth to have bindings.
So with talking about, obviously bioboards are known for raw power and speed and stuff like that. Would you say that's the main strength of the bioboard? It's that kind of straight line, ultimate speed, ultimate power, and that's where it's the most strongest track.
Yeah, most strong, probably, but you can set it up for like better for carving and easy rider, and it's one of the longest range, and it have a lot more features than another board if you like technical stuff. It have a display on the over front truck.
I love
So you
that.
can
I've
see,
seen that recently.
so you can see the speed, and it can even our BMS is connected to CAN bus, so you can even on the display read the balance between the cells and all that kind of technical stuff. You can upload with it's a Wi-Fi connection, so you can upload the rides directly from the board and save backups and stuff. So it's a lot more features than another board.
So Andy's asking, will you do a Champion competitive off-road board?
Not this year, but it will be fun to make a real off-road board too. But we will see. Maybe next year, but nothing that have been decided at least.
I think it's another direction entirely where you'd have to start from scratch. Because I think I was speaking to someone about this the other day. A lot of companies build a board, put off-road wheels in it, and then now it's an off-road board, and that's not. You need to put much more engineering into stuff like that.
Yeah,
definitely. I was looking through your older boards as well. The Radium I quite like, and Thorium AT. So with the launch of Plutonium, is this going to be the only board you're making now, or are you going to still?
Yeah, we did actually thought before we released any boards, we thought we can't only do Thorium; it's too expensive, too big, and so we made a Uranium a small board and Radium a medium-sized board. But I think it was like 5% of the orders that was a Radium or Uranium, so it was too expensive to try keep parts for them. And to my surprise, almost all ordered four-wheel drive, the most expensive, biggest one. All want the best.
Yeah, crazy power. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I think that's the market, really.
Yeah, and actually for like 95% of the people, four-wheel drive with this kind of power and motors is overkill. For most, it's two-wheel drive fine, but I know the feeling. I like the four-wheel drive more too, even if I don't use it that much.
Nice. Nelson's asking 4 motors. Yes, 4,500 watts each.
Yeah.
So you do make a two motor version of the new one. So
you can. We try to make the order a little bit easier this year. Before last year, it was like a name, one product or a name for two-wheel drive, all-terrain, and so now it's only Plutonium, and you choose the options: two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, all-terrain or street wheels, and we have 3 different kind of remotes they can choose from, and the bushings setup they can also choose when ordering.
So I think one thing I'd like to know about from a customer point of view is if you're looking, obviously all-wheel drive is the hot topic at the moment with everyone. What would be the main difference for a consumer between having a two-wheel drive and an all-wheel drive? What is the benefit of one compared to the other?
The benefit of four-wheel drive is probably less stress on the parts, so they will probably work longer because you have lower temperatures, and you distribute the power between 4 motors instead of 2, and have half the ampere running in every VESC instead of all in one. So that's probably, and the you have traction control between the 4 motors, so you can get better traction when accelerating, and you get stronger brakes because you have 4 motor brakes. And and the cons is probably with full drive is a little less range and a lot more weight, I would say.
Okay, cool.
That's
Oh
funny.
God, it's scary, scary time.
So I might asking, where in the world do most Bioboard sales come from?
It last year it was Sweden and US, but so far this and Norway was growing later with Thorium, but this year it actually been Norway and US. But we have sold to a lot of countries I didn't expect, like Israel or Taiwan and yeah,
That's cool.
Hong Kong, Sydney and stuff. So yeah, way all over the world.
That's crazy.
Yeah, not so much in Australia yet, but I hope we can start selling there. We sell, you can order to Australia too, but I don't know why. Maybe they like some other boards. So. We
Yeah,
have
a lot
only
of tax
Other brand.
issues in Australia. I think I was looking on when Jay was saying about like the LaCroix coming into the country, the cost of import tax and ship. It's very difficult for Australian people to get higher end boards in the country.
Yeah, and I think Evolve is a lot more cheaper there too, so maybe people buy it.
Yeah, because it's in the country, isn't it? So I've got a question. With obviously the evolution of e-skating, with the competitions, the racing, what's the chances of having a Bioboards representative, someone as an ambassador who's racing the Bioboards in these events? Because with the Evolve UK Open and It's Electric in France, and all these people who are making competition boards, and you guys have a competition board that you sell to people. Do you think you guys are going to have a rider or someone to represent your brand as a competitor to, show that you guys have got one of the top end boards in the world at this point?
Yeah, that's actually the plan. We have been talking with Brad at the Riptide Sports because he knows a lot of riders in US and he will try help us find a good rider. And but as fast as we have started deliver all pre-orders and when we are running a little bit more normal now, we have like 50 boards to build, so it's almost no time. So when all is more normal again, we will build a board and send one to US at least for having someone ride it and show it on the competitions and events. And maybe we will have one in UK too, or we will see. It's we are not we are still a small company, and it costs us
100%,
between only in parts between 2,000 and 3,000 euro to build one board. So it's a lot of money to give away.
Into someone
Not give away, but
invest
use for marketing or what you call it.
100%. So you said you got 50 board orders at this point. What's the build time on a board roughly at this point? For if I built one today, how long would I not expect, but like if I did an order, how long would it take roughly for someone to have complete and send back?
If you order today, it will take around 8 weeks before it ship, and that was the plan from the beginning too. I think because we changed supplier of deck, it will take a little more than 8 weeks for the first from the ones that order first before they get it, because we are making we're actually making the decks in UK now.
Ooh,
really?
Yeah.
We need to have a little day trip somewhere and find out these decks and check it out.
Yeah.
That'd be cool, man.
I wonder
that have been the hardest part with this and all delay. The original plan was to release in January, but it's been then the corona hit, and we did have the battery PCB and the deck and enclosure made in China, and they all delayed or slow on delivering, and it's not the prototype were good, but then the final come was not good, so it's been a really hard time to get all the parts and have them in good quality. But I think we are on the track now. And so we changed and the PCB we make here in Sweden now instead. So we try to be less dependent from China now because it's too hard with the delivery times and stuff now.
So one question you said about the deck, which I found interesting. Obviously, I have experience from riding like a Lacroix deck, which obviously is quite wide. Your decks don't seem very wide for the high-end speeds that you go in. So how does that? How do you find the like speed wobble and control on like a more narrow-ish deck? Because I seem to find obviously mountain boards have wider decks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you guys are somewhere in the middle. So
it's actually I don't. You get the feeling that it's more stable and if it's wider. But if you look on the downhill skaters, they ride a small third one deck and a lot faster than we do. So it's not so much about the size or the length. You need to have long, I think, to feel so it feels stable on high speed, but width is not that important. But it's a lot wide. It's wider than it's for we used the Landyacht Evo board last year, and this new board is wider, so it's still bigger. And it was the most we did a customer survive and asked what they wanted for a new board, and the most common question was if they wanted it longer, so it's around 17 centimeters longer than last year.
So we're talking about speed. Just we can all play this game, but what's the record for Bioboard at this point for top end speed?
It's will be while it was actually not a plan to make for sale or anything, but we were just bored when we was waiting for the parts this winter. So we built a special version of Forium that have some parts from the new board and some from the old. And you probably can do like with someone on 130 kilometers per hour or something.
Jesus.
Wow.
But I have been riding 100 kilometers per hour as fastest on it.
This is terrifying.
If you go on our YouTube channel, there is I think it's a second video latest or something.
Yeah, you just watch this little speed just kind of keep going up and it never stops. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's the fastest I've gone so far. But I have a kid to take care of too. So
you have a family, 100%.
Yeah, but so yeah.
So
it's fun to ride fast.
When you announced the Plutonium, there was that original video that came out on your site. Someone riding on the street. I think they had a 360 cam. Yeah. Who was riding that? Was it you?
I'm not sure what video you're thinking about, but most video is me or my Bioboard friend Alex that rides it, and sometimes we have upload customers send in videos too when they ride. So, but it's mostly
I think the day you announced the board. You go to your site and hit Plutonium and a video just plays someone riding on the streets.
That's Alex in that video. Yeah.
I saw that, and the guy was so fast. And if you watch it towards the end, you can see there's these little speed wobbles, perfectly controlled. But it's so far, and you see them, and you just think, I'd have been off then. You know it. And
it's a little scary when it happens, but. If you just are focused, you can probably, how do you say, parry them or control them.
Yeah. Counter kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's no point to trying to run them off at that speed.
That's crazy. Crazy. So with you, go on, Tim.
So, which board did you start off riding with before? I think you're saying your Raptor.
It was Raptor 2.
So what was that? Did you feel that wasn't enough of a board? Because I've seen Raptors out. I think I've seen Mojo and a couple of other people riding Raptors, and they were absolutely mental. Do you have this feeling that it's not enough? I always want some more.
Yeah, it was. I was right. I think it did like 50 kilometers per hour or 55 or something. And yeah, I
Yeah, it's not.
was normally hitting it, running it when I went to work, riding it, and I always felt like, I want a little more. And it's and yeah, and the range too. The range was terrible. I thought on Raptor 2, at least after some time. But
So
it
one
was
thing you said
actually
that.
the yeah, sorry.
No, go on, finish with
Ah,
it.
but it was actually the most fun time in my skate riding time I did have with a Raptor 2, but that's probably because it was the first board. I was like going to sleep. I was on the summer. I was just wanting to wake up so I could ride it to my work.
So it starts. So one thing you're saying about your build, and obviously it's been evolving over time, is how do you find that you got your relationship with Lacroix with the Stormcore? How it's quite interesting to see a lot of, like how that relationship has happened and it's working really well with you guys, because obviously a lot of companies have everything themselves and they don't communicate with other companies and that's it. You know, how's that relationship kind of been with developing your product with another company's with the Lacroix Stormcore?
It was actually we were working with Nerfion before we used Unity, and the one that designed and made it was Jeffrey, and that worked on a Nerfion at that time. And later he joined Lacroix and made a Stormcore course, so it was just naturally to follow him. And that's when he joined them, we started to talk with them, and Nerfion was bankrupt, so yeah, that we just follow him where he went. So yeah, it was.
I want this
It's
guy in my
a
team.
yeah. It was yeah, but it's a good cooperation. I think we like to work with them.
It's really good to see companies working together actually, because normally, like Tom was saying, they got this is our stuff and we're keeping it and like don't copy us. But it's really nice to see some kind of like actual proper sharing in the community. I think this is like really what eSkate is all about.
Yeah, I think it's great. You have yeah, it's fun when it's like that, but it's some companies don't like it.
For sure.
One thing I saw on your board as well, and it's changed. I've noticed is you had obviously your ABEC wheels on your board for a long time, and just the idea of going crazy speeds on urethane is something special. And like, how do you find going on street wheels and then going onto pneumatic wheels and having tires instead?
The traction is a lot better on all train wheels. So if you want to ride like in competition and stuff like that, you need it to have a chance almost. I think they should do when it's like speed competition. They should have like a group with street wheel and one with all train wheel, because and a easy way to make it fair between all skateboards probably have all street wheels, because then it will be traction and not power that will be the limit.
Performance,
yeah. Just on that point of like speed and stuff. The Plutonium 80 four-wheel drive is advertised up to 50 miles an hour. Do you get nervous offering this speed to customers who may not be experienced and could hurt themselves?
Yeah, sometimes, but at the same time, they accept the agreement when they buy the board, and we don't recommend anyone go that fast. And we actually, it says when you're ordering, we don't recommend to order this as your first board.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah,
it's important.
Yeah, and it's like you can see it that way, but at the same time, you can buy a car that goes 300 kilometers per hour, but you should not.
Exactly.
Still,
Yeah.
we just wanted to have the feeling when you have this board to have like you are the limit, not the board. So when
definitely.
it should not be like you hit top. I want to go fast. It should always be you that are the limit, and the board should be able to do whatever you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think another thing as well. I think because of the high-end speed bouncing off that, I think what would you advise about protection? Because obviously I think in the UK we have a lot of people wear one protection for everything, like knee pads, elbow pads, and that's it. But when you're going over 40 miles an hour easily, you know, would you recommend, like, do we go into motorcycle stuff where we got leathers and full face and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's what I recommend. I ride normally, even if I ride slow or fast. The only thing that changed between if I ride slow, I probably use a normal skate helmet, but if I ride fast, I use a downhill helmet, TSG Pass. But I always wear my knee pads, elbow pads, wrist guards, and 1 year ago I snapped my shoulder. So after that, I use just for this side bicycle protection extra pad here. So that's I take on every ride I do, because I've been before falling without like wrist guards, and I don't like the feeling when you go into the ground and have have nothing to.
Yeah,
It hurts.
I had the similar experience about 2.5 months ago. I fell about 35 miles an hour on my back, flat, and I was stuck in bed for like 2 weeks. I couldn't even move. I couldn't walk. So you can't. My advice, and like yourself, is don't find out after. Get it, not need it, basically, instead of don't have it when you needed it. 100%.
Yeah.
So Plutonium is seriously pushing the limits of e-skate. Is this where you're going to kind of like stop, or do you envision yourself? Is there more? Is it always going to be kind of an evolution?
Yeah, we will. I think this Plutonium platform, because we invested so much money in it, in the deck and everything, and so we probably will stay with this because we are happy with it for a few years. But we will always, we did it to always improve. We find some problem, we always try to improve small stuff all the time, and we will probably after a year make a updated version or something like that. We will never stop to find better stuff and improve, but we will probably use this platform for a long time now.
Yeah, I'd be worried if you said, 50's not enough.
But look at this.
The motor controller actually supports higher voltage, so maybe for some crazy guys in the future we can offer a battery upgrade and then to 75 volts, and then they can ride 70 miles per hour instead of 50.
That's just beyond insane.
Yeah. No one should be doing that, but
so there's one person out there, isn't there? There's always someone who wants to know. It's like asking a sea captain, submarine man, how deep his sub really goes. How fast can we really go?
Yeah.
So do you see this as a competitive board for something like the Paris events? Do you see it as a proper racer? Would it be able to compete like track events?
When I was at the Paris event, was the street track was very small and hard turns and stuff. For that, it's probably not the best board, and you have to have something more looser, and it's not so much about the power, it's more about how good you are on doing tight turns and stuff. But if it's more like a car track, like it's
racetrack, bigger,
then it will probably be one of the in the top.
I think that's very interesting.
We've got a track here that we use. It's 3 kilometers of absolutely super smooth tarmac cyclopark.
Yeah,
I would love to see you take
that. That's where you can find out what your board can really do on a track.
So is there any kind of, I know some boards do tours and they kind of go on tour with the board and show it off. Are you considering that for your board? Are you going to sort of take it out and demo it in various cities?
We'll now we were so late for this summer to have all boards ready and stuff, but next year we will travel a lot more and show it up, and hopefully have sold a lot more, so we can afford to have a few ambassadors around the world, so more can test
I think
it
that's one
before
thing.
ordering.
I think definitely. I think is having the little represent people showing your stuff, because people. I think that's the thing is like people. It's a lot. Obviously, like anyone, it's a lot of investment into something you've not seen, touched, or ridden. So I think that's the definite one.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, I think it will probably be like now we sell a lot more than last year, but it will probably the curve will probably be the same now. Everyone that wanted a first order, so we have a lot of orders at the moment, and then we will go down for some time. But when all the customers are starting to get them and show their friends stuff, it will be a new big amount of orders.
Yeah.
But I'm just happy for that at the moment, because it's we have a lot of boards to build.
Excellent.
Already, yeah.
Will Stormcore allow you to use their controllers if you do build an all-terrain similar to Lacroix? So are they seeing you as competition at all, or are you just going to stay friendly?
I don't know, because we have not thought about building that kind of board that Lacroix does. So yeah, we will see that day what they think about it. But of course we have to, if we want to use
it's a different
it,
market.
Cooperate with them.
I don't think there's a worry. I think it's a completely different kind of board. I think that.
I think if we will do like more a flexible deck with all-terrain off-road board, we will probably not build it like Lacroix or Kaylee. We will try to go our own way, and we will probably do a top mount battery, I think, so we can do a real, because we don't. Yeah, there are already Kaylee and Lacroix for that kind of board, so it's better to do a real off-road board, so we don't have to compete for the same kind of customer. They are already doing great what they do, so I don't see the point of doing the same.
I think as we go along, I think it's going to slowly become more saturated. It's going to be harder for companies to show individual stuff, and you guys are already representing the high end maximum. Well, who knows, but the maximum at the moment ability what we can do, and it's gone way. I wouldn't even call them electric boards anymore. They're like there needs to be this new identity that's not e-boarding anymore. When you're talking over 120 kilometers an hour, you might as well put a parachute for stopping to catch you from slow you down.
How has your government supported Bioboards as a company during COVID?
Nothing actually. We haven't.
Really?
They have. No, that we are all that work on Bioboards, except one guy that we hire hourly when we need, are working for free at the moment. Because we don't take any salary. We trying to use the money to build a brand and stuff, and hopefully later we can earn a little on the work. But for now we're all working for free, and think it's fun, so it's still worth it. And
well, you guys hopefully should succeed. It's passion. That's what it's all about.
But the government have some kind of support you can apply to, but we have not, and I don't feel right when we. Maybe if it was our full-time work and we was using it for living and our family, maybe then we would try to apply for some kind of support. But for now, we just try to make it on our own. But it have been affected us a lot because of all the delays, and it have cost a lot to try move the production to Europe because COVID delayed all parts and stuff. So it's been hard.
COVID's really trashed quite a lot this year. It's been we were at the beginning of the year, we were all so excited. We were like, Eastgate scene,
loads of events everywhere
this year, all the group rides, and then it fell to bits, and it was it's quite.
I was actually also imagine like some we already have been selling a lot of boards, have delivered, and on the summer now we could have focus on doing some kind of Europe tour or something to show them up. And we did have a lot of plans, but there was other stuff happening. So yeah.
So how can people find out more about Bioboards? I know your website is bioboards.se.
Yeah.
I've got your Instagram here, Bioboards Eastgate. So if they're looking at buying the new Plutonium, let me just see if I can bring the screen up here. There we go. So this at the moment, this is the Plutonium board builder. So is it everything at the moment is in stock? So you can just pick whatever you want, and it'll take 8 weeks to come out.
Yeah, around that, maybe less, maybe a little more, but around 8 weeks.
Cool. So
let's build.
Yeah, I was actually I had to play around with this earlier, and it's like obviously AT, four-wheel drive,
VX1 I like.
Yeah, VX1 complete battery, and it's like 3,200. That's not too bad at all, really. It's not too bad.
What you're getting, definitely, 100%.
Yeah. Is that excluding VAT as well, isn't it? So we just pay the VAT when it lands in the UK.
UK you still for this year. I think you pay the VAT in our checkout, and it's no VAT in the customs, I think. But after next year, I think you have
Brexit.
Yeah, Brexit, and then you will not pay VAT in the checkout and pay to your customs instead.
Okay, excellent.
So it still works like you're in Europe.
With the Bioboards, where does Bioboards come from as the name of Bioboards?
From the beginning, it was actually I tried to find out some cool name or something for the boards, and was then I maybe some radioactive material. It was uranium, thorium, and radium. So then I thought maybe what can I call a company, and then it was like from biohazard.
Biohazard.
That was the idea from the beginning.
Well, they are quite dangerous. So fitting name.
Yeah.
Is there anything you kind of want to mention that we haven't covered, or anything about the boards or stuff we might have missed? So nice.
I think I've got almost all the parts. Usually, I think if you want the best board with most future and one of the longest range, you should buy this one. And when I got a lot of questions from customers asking, should I buy this or this one, I tell them usually if you want the one with highest power and most future, you should buy our boards if that's your priority. If you want the best board that have a stiff deck, you should buy our board. But if it's most important part is you want a flexible deck, then you should go to Kaylee or Lacroix and look for them. So
yeah,
this is
a conversation I was having with Tom earlier when we were out riding. Is like people buy a board and then they want more. So if you've hit the limit on your board, then you want more speed. And then when you finish riding and you have to stop and you recharge, you want more range.
Yeah.
And it's like you seem to have kind of addressed all of those things where the limit is so high that even when when you get used to riding, how you can just go, there's a bit more, and it's like exciting again. And when you get used to that, there's still more, and it's like you're really planning one board.
Always chasing your tail. Always chasing.
And
there's always.
And the amount of future the board have, like with the display and mobile, the board supports 3 different mobile apps, and so we could probably still have this board for a year and find out new future after some time again, because it's so much stuff you can do, like upload rides, share rides, see different kind of statics, and it's have Wi-Fi connection, Bluetooth connection. It's almost unlimited amount of
So I've
futures.
got a
And
question
kind
with
of
that.
stuff.
When you say about
Yeah.
future and whatnot with the board, have you built the board with the future in mind, where you have the opportunity eventually, if we have a new, for example, new wheel style coming out with different hubs, have you had it so that the system that's there now, a customer could maybe buy the upgrades when they come to be available? Is that already in place already, where you buy the board and you can release new products to change the board on how it produces from there?
Later we probably will try to find some new cool stuff they can add to the board. But for the software, it's support. We have a Metro module. It's actually made by a guy here in Sweden too, the mobile app Meter, and he updates it almost weekly with new features. So it have a lot of cool stuff. Like one of my favorite things is if you winter store your board, you probably want to have the battery around 60-70%.
Yeah.
So with the app, you can just, and maybe you don't have the time to go out and ride and check, so you have hit that kind of battery level. So with the app, you can just set so it start to
Hibernation.
discharge.
Yeah.
Discharged the battery on its own, just standing still the board. So yeah, that's kind of stuff he find out lots of things.
Software opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, it's similar to the DJI batteries, where if you store them for a certain length of time, they know they've been stored and they start to discharge slowly around to that level. Yeah, which is really clever. I really like that.
Yeah.
I got used to my GTR top speed, and now it gets boring. This would never happen with Plutonium. Totally agree.
The GTR feels like a toy almost compared to our boards.
This is completely different.
Yeah, I was trying to film someone today with a four-wheel drive board, and I just full GTR mode, held it down as hard as I could, and he was just gone. He just left me behind, and I couldn't even film him because he was just he was gone. It's quite incredible. Try and keep these streams down under an hour, so we just hit 50 minutes. So is there anything you want to kind of like mention? I know we don't
have any last questions or anything.
Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks to get your board out. Obviously you've got 50. There's 50 in the queue at the moment.
Yeah, no, not much. All I can do is promise we will get every part will be the highest quality available. Maybe it's have been a hard time now with all the delays and stuff, so we changed supplier and waste a lot of money. But in the end, it might delay a little, but in the end, we did it to deliver the best product. So I hope the customer will be happy in the end, and I think it will be worth the wait time.
Definitely.
100% agree with that. I think that's a problem with other companies sometimes, where they will give you a board because they don't want you to wait, and then you need to bring it back because there's things that are not ready. I think people get frustrating, but respect. It's worth waiting for something that's working for a long time than giving you something to work on later.
Yeah, and you have to remember, it's many of these almost all e-skate companies is small companies, and it's a lot of technical and expensive parts. So it's hard to run a skate company and deliver high quality products and at the same time fast.
It's interesting to see how it's the smaller companies who are leading the way at the moment with the future of e-skate. 100%.
Yeah, I noticed on your website, I'm just having a look through now, you sell pretty much all your parts individually as well. For
all that wants to build themselves, I recommend to order the parts. It's a lot of fun to build your board for yourself too.
That's really cool, because a lot of companies don't sell every part of their boards, like really stripped down. And your supercharger, 10 amp charger, how long does that take? How fast does that charge your board?
It's around 2.5 hours with our new battery. So our old board have a 30% smaller battery, but it's charged in around 4 hours, so it's almost twice the speed to charge the new board, half the speed to charge the new board, even if the battery is 30% bigger.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is seriously impressive. But not that you need to stop for a charge when you're out riding anyway.
Yeah.
We had a very sad, long conversation the other day from a group, why didn't we, Tim? Talking about charging times. So I think you even were becoming red in the face, saying, "I'm so fed up with charging all the time."
Yeah. I literally went for a ride the other day, and I took 2 boards with me so I could ride one and then put it in the boot and then take the other one out and ride, because I just didn't want to charge.
Yeah, it's a very boring when you are on a group ride or something and have to take the train home or something because the other rides away.
Yeah,
for sure. We hit 50 minutes. So like I said, normally we keep these under an hour. Tom, do you have any other questions you want to go through quickly?
Questions? Oh, I think our main point was made about hopefully, for me, where I go with this is I'm looking at stuff like different boards, different purpose, like agility and speed for like your day-to-day board, and then the high-end boards like yourselves about speed. I just would love to be excited to see more of them. And I'm not saying that they're not out there, but just as a UK scene, I know there's a few, and I'm arranging play days to go see them. But I would love to see Bioboards representing at events. And I know with events being difficult at the moment, I just think that would be the big thing, because I think you guys are mostly known throughout the community from references from people like, have you heard of this board? Have you seen it? I just want to see it in person. I just want to stand there and feel it and see what it feels like.
But we could probably, not exactly now, but in maybe 2 months or 1 month or something, we could maybe not have an ambassador there that gets a board, but we can probably send you a test board for a review, or you can show it up and have it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks before you send it back or something like that.
We can organise a group ride and bring some people down. Definitely, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, great.
People just want to see it. I think one place, and you say it with me, Tim, is Cyclo Park, Olympic cycle track.
Yeah,
it would be seeing this thing just go. This is absolutely gone.
Yeah,
fantastic. Thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Bioboards, check them out.
Future.
Definitely. You've got range, you've got speed, like just totally nailed. It scares me seriously just reading the stats. I was just looking at them now on my other screen. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. Is there
thank you for having me.
Shout out before we go? Anything at all you want to mention?
No, just go and follow us on our social medias, and you will see most news and can read what's happening.
Cool. Great stuff. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Tim, just before we sign out, do you just want to talk about what we're going to be doing about future streaming or the Carve channel before we end it, because this will be our last live one?
This is the last live stream for this season. We will do some more live streams. We will get some more kind of like brands on board and schedule another couple of months, but it won't be for a little while. Keep an eye on Carve. Don't forget Carve merch is for sale in Carve. And yeah, that's it, I guess.
The only thing we're going to have as well is we're going to be looking at maybe doing some community submitted videos and stuff going forward. So if you guys are watching and you've got your really good, good content which we can submit, we're going to be looking at having that place for you guys to behave, to submit your content to get some more community, because all this stuff is about community, guys. So thank you, Markus, for spending the time with us in the UK. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So cool. We'll stay in touch, dude, and we'll set something up. We'll set up a demo day for you in London or something like that. It'd be really cool to promote your board.
Yeah, great.
Nice one. Thank you very much, guys.
Have a good.
We're going to end it here.
Thank you very much for watching.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Good night.
Good night.